Hi, welcome to Detours Understanding Acquired Brain Injury. And with us, we have, as you can see, Laura, the crazy plant lady, as her sign says back there. And so today, obviously, we're going to be talking about an activity that you can do, whether it's indoors or out, although obviously it's more pleasant as an outdoor activity, at least I would think so. She's going to be guiding us through getting started with a small plant, something you could do at home. And it's a basic activity, and it's something that you can get started for, like a garden, flowers, or even try vegetables or whatever if you're more enterprising to try it. So thank you.
Okay,
And yeah, now as you can see, she's a little more advanced than
exactly. I go a
most of
little
us.
overboard on things.
Yeah, but you're also were florist, so I would
Yep.
expect you to have more advanced
And they've
gardening
grown into
skills
some
than the
bigger
rest of us.
ones.
Yeah, so could you then just help us get started? What?
Okay. Well, if you don't want to go out to Home Depot and buy anything, I recommend you can start with an egg carton. All right. And I'll show you real quick how to make an egg carton. Cut it up. You just cut the top off. And then we have to have a drainage for all our seed compartments. So make sure you poke a hole in this. You can use the end of scissors or a little stick, that might be easier. And once you do all of those, I won't do all of them for this, but then next step is we fill it with soil. So I have my bucket of soil. Yep, here's my bucket of soil over here.
Dirt from outside or whatever? Is that okay?
Yes, dirt from outside. Like it really needs to be actually soil that you buy in a bag at Home Depot, potting soil.
But
So
I
if you
would
guys,
assume dirt from outside's okay if you don't have
it's
that stuff.
okay, but yeah, it's better for start seeds at a softer soil.
Preferable to start with the potting soil kind of stuff, right?
Exactly, right. And let me show you if I can flip this camera. See, it has this thin material.
It's healthier. It's got
It's healthier, yeah, and it's
the
not
organic
as thick.
material in it to start.
Right. And then you just kind of splatter them in. Not all the way full, guys, because what we're going to do is the next step
Okay.
is we're going to put the seed. This up.
Okay, can we see what you do?
Yeah,
Wait,
the
I can't
seeds.
see.
Yeah, the
Oh, there we go.
seeds. Yeah, it's one hand to pick up the seeds.
What kind
And then
of seeds are those?
these are pea Lincoln seeds.
Okay.
So we're gonna go
Oh, pea seeds. Okay.
pea seeds, yeah, but I've got lots of seeds.
Okay.
Sweet peas are flowers. You can do zinnias, money plant, delphinium are really pretty tall ones. Just pick whatever you want, and then you put the seed in the center. You don't need to push it down because we haven't put the soil on top.
Oh, okay.
So, and then you don't want it to be way at the bottom. You don't want the seed to be at the bottom. It needs to have some room of soil underneath.
Right.
Try to make sure they're in the center. Don't let it poke to the side.
Right.
Low on that one, and then we go back over to the soil. Here, we'll do it over here. And then you just sprinkle on top like this. Okay. Now
Oh, okay. So
pretty
enough
much
to
done.
enough to cover the seed, right? And
Exactly. You need to cover it up. And then all you have to do is pour water on top of it.
how much should you? Well, we'll just watch.
Here we go. Here, I have some water. I didn't have a watering thing, but just a little bit, just a tiny little drip.
Okay.
Until it kind of looks wet. I mean, it's okay. You have drainage in it, so you're okay. It's gonna drain a little bit, but you don't want it too soaking wet. I think that's probably enough. Let's see. It hasn't started coming out yet, so it's okay. But when you stick your finger in, and if it's still dry at the bottom, you want to put more water in, but that's completely wet. I can see that it's really wet at the bottom.
Okay.
So we're good there. And that's it. And then you usually want to label it. I'll just take a Sharpie and write on the side of this because it's reusable and I'll throw it away later. Or you can get a little sticky sign to put on it. What type of plant? We planted peas, got right peas on it.
I guess you could like cut out the label for what it is and like just tape it on the side or something.
Yeah, but I still have more seeds in here, so I want to be able to save this package for the next time I plant more. And these last, forever. So next year, if I want to plant more, I'm good to plant more.
Okay. So now where should you put it for light? If you're keeping it indoors, where would be a good, like obviously
By the windows, definitely by the windows. And if it's warm enough outside, I put it outside. And then at night, if it's too cold, you can bring it in at night. It's going to be dark anyway, so who cares? And it's warmer in your house. But if it's warm at night, leave it outside if you can. Even if you have a balcony, you can leave it outside. And then eventually, once they grow big enough, we'll plant them in the ground.
All right, so we'll keep this hanging around. So where would you put this? So right now, where would you place this egg crate? So you can show our viewers where you're gonna like.
Well, I have a patio downstairs. Want to take it down there? It's
okay. If you
outside,
think it's warm enough, it's raining like crazy. So maybe
right. That's
us
what I'm worried about. I was like,
indoors.
I would have done this outside to begin with if it wasn't raining.
It's raining really hard here, so.
Yeah, it's raining hard for me. Let me see.
Yeah, we're fairly close. I know that you are like, not too many miles away from me. So,
Right.
I'm sure it's raining just as bad, but
Yeah, let's see if you guys can see how bad it's raining.
yeah. So how bad, it's like, what kind of temperatures are we talking about for like, it's different for each kind of plant. So for something like this.
Yeah. See, this is my messy garden here, but
yeah. Well,
I mean, you can
nice.
just put it on the table. See, I mean, this is already full of water. That's usually what I store the plants in at night. When I bring it into my house, and you put it here.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Flip the camera again. There we go.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and then you will, and then I'll eventually put them into these big pots. Once they get really big, we'll transfer them into pots like this.
Okay, well, we'll pick up. We'll check on them every now and again as we do videos. But I just wanted to like do with you one where we saw, like at least getting started. I think this is important, and then maybe in a couple days or a week or so, we could check in on it again.
Yeah, definitely.
See how long it takes to pop up a little. Um,
And then we can track to see when it's ready to transfer to a bigger pot.
Yeah, and that's
because
a skill.
These were let me show you the bigger ones. These were definitely needing to transfer. Right here. See?
Yeah.
These grew big enough that I had to put them in a pot this size.
Right.
So, and then I have some in these. I started out with these. These are pretty good.
Yeah, those look nice.
So that's the professional way to do it, guys.
Right.
You can go to a Home Depot and buy this. It has a drainage, so like it leaks into this thing, so you're not leaking water all over your floor, but it can still drain through that.
It's like you guys can get a cheap aluminum, like a turkey pan or something like that that you drain for. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, or you can even take aluminum foil and like shape one yourself. I mean, it doesn't have to be high cost here. I mean, worst case, you can make these things yourself if you really want to.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. Yeah. It's, a good thing to keep you active every day, checking on them. Okay, let's transfer them, water them, check on making sure that they have enough water, but make sure you don't overwater them. That's why I like to pull them out. If it's raining, it's like, oh shoot, they're getting too wet. But once they get big enough, you don't have to worry about that. It's just at the seed stage.
This year, they released the new climate zones. Everything has moved north a little bit, so depending on where you are, you can grow things that used to only grow in the south. So everything's bumped north. So I know where I am, we've moved to 7B, I think, gardening zone. So we can grow like, it's a traditional southern flower, and I cannot think of the name of the bloody thing. But
tell us later.
We're on the border of the subtropical climate here. Where you are is definitely subtropical, but it's like, because you guys get hot and
very hot, like July and August, we're into like the high 90s.
It's like that for us too. It's nasty and humid and yucky. And then we're really close to, by air, it would be to the Chesapeake Bay, so we get all that, all the humidity. The river, the Susquehanna, is like literally less than 2.5 blocks from our house.
Okay.
And if you take that down like 5 months, the view, it's beautiful. I mean, here's a picture I'm gonna put in here.
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, I will. When I edit this, I will put the
Yeah, no
picture
worries.
in. I'll send you the picture. It's literally 2.5 blocks from our house. It's gorgeous. And then if you follow that down for about five miles, you get right into the Chesapeake Bay. Gorgeous.
Cool.
And so but there's a disadvantage. When late spring and summer roll around, all that humidity off the Chesapeake Bay and off of the river just come rolling right in, and it makes things hot, sweaty, and that's part of what gets you with the Potomac, and
Mm-hmm. So it gets very
and
humid here, definitely. I'm very close to Potomac. I grew up
yeah,
on the Potomac River. Yeah,
and
in
so
Great
it's like,
Falls, the water.
yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of gorgeous views. That's the other thing to encourage, and something I want to talk about too, as we get further in with you and some of the other folks. It's like if you're lucky enough to be near water, it's like enjoy the views and swimming and stuff like that. We'll be talking about swimming, exercise, stuff like that as it gets warmer. But because that's a great way to exercise. I push water activities a lot because people with brain injury, we benefit from those kind of activities because it takes the weight off your body, but allows you to practice and strengthen arms and muscles and
The
stuff like that.
noodle and push it down.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
I do that in the pool. It's
Yep,
awesome.
and that is really important to do that. Even if you need a wheelchair, there are a lot of pools out there and a lot of places where you can get into the water, but it's important to get at least some basic swim training, and don't go anywhere where there's no lifeguard. I cannot
Oh,
stress that
definitely.
enough. Yeah, even if you're a skilled, capable swimmer, I used to be a lifeguard and I used to dive and swim.
Very cool.
However, even I don't go places where there are no lifeguards because, despite my competency with swimming, riptide or something else can get you. But all right, enough of that. Let's shift back to, are there plants that you would say do better indoors?
Well, if you want to have herbs, that would be a good indoor thing. Some
What?
basil herb plants. Like if you
Herbs.
want
Oh,
herbs to
herbs.
grow
Okay,
to cook
yes.
with, like rosemary and basil,
Right.
and that's a good indoor plant because it's a year-round thing that you can keep in. Orchids are very good to keep indoors, but you don't
Okay.
want to start those from seeds. You can't start an orchid from a seed. Um,
What?
you can't start an orchid from a seed.
I didn't
I mean,
know
you
that.
could,
Okay.
but it would take forever. You need greenhouses and everything. They're very
Oh,
tropical.
okay. So that's not, is there a good flower indoors that grows well? No?
Can't one right now. No. Geranium, maybe. I don't know. That's an easy
Okay.
one.
How about, like, are
Those
there any bulb plants that you could start with a small pot or something like that? Tulips or
tulips,
like
yeah, and daffodil. Let's see.
that is my favorite, is the tulip. I love,
Those are good because they come back year after year. It's like you
yeah,
plant them
my
once and you
dad,
don't have to worry about planting them again. It's like,
what
yes.
is that? Perennial, right? Is that the right term for that?
Right. Yeah. And then
My
annual,
dad,
it only comes once a year. I mean, that's it. Like one time and you're done. Yeah.
my dad and
Um,
I both were
peonies, that's another one that comes every year. A
peonies.
peony.
Okay. Yeah, I
Peonies. I
don't,
love those. They're beautiful and they're really expensive to buy. So if you want to grow them your own, that's a good one to
right.
have. And big blooms, they take up a lot of space in a vase. That's pretty.
That may be something we can try, is like a tulip or something. Just
Mhm.
my
Some
dad
fancy
loved those too. The two of us both like the big red ones. It was a sign
oh,
of spring when we had
spring.
that outside.
They're
Um,
really cool. So,
like May, those would pop up.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
I just love because
peonies.
right down the our backyard, we just had like an entire strip of nothing but tulips of different colors. And with my
Oh,
mom from Germany and coming from Germany and all that, she liked them too. And we just did like an entire row down the backyard.
that's pretty. Yeah. And tulips have different colors. Daffodils only yellow.
Mhm.
So want a variety of like a red, you can have that with a tulip. But if you want bright yellow, daffodils are good too.
It
So
wasn't just, it's interesting. It's not just Holland that's associated. Like up in northern Germany, they used to grow a
mhm.
lot of those too. And my mom, it's like she liked those too. So all three of us were
Oh,
fond of that flower. Um, and the variety of colors is very cool too.
mhm. Awesome. So,
Roses, he did not like roses because he was allergic to them. But my dad always says
oh, shoot.
he liked the
Yeah,
bachelor buttons are cute too, or neat
roses are good.
flower.
They come
He liked
they're
that too.
thorny and hard to pick. You have to be careful.
Mhm.
All the thorns on roses.
Yeah, no, roses definitely were not. I've seen like some bluish purple ones now through genetic engineering, which is weird. But and there are those that kind of glow in the dark. They put the genes for bioluminescent jellyfish in them, so they kind of glow, which is weird.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know why they want to do that, but yeah. So they
Yeah.
it's strange, but
At night, maybe if you're out on your deck
yeah,
and you have plants
yeah.
kind of
It's yeah.
like
It
dark.
but it does make them glow. Like I said, it's the same biochemistry that the jellyfish use. So, because there are a lot of pretty, like really tiny algae and jellyfish that glow at certain beaches. So it's kind of, but it's still kind of weird. Uh, but that flowers have colors at all is kind of strange
Yeah,
because it's really humans don't. Well, we do pollinate them, but
yes, beautiful
oh,
color.
so can you grow
That's a
that
good
in? Can you grow those inside?
Uh-huh. Well, no, you sort them and you have to plant them outside. They're
Okay,
pretty
all right.
then.
So
Then
you
it's
can't.
open and it's pretty, yeah. So
So mainly it would be like herbs or like a pea plant or whatever that you could start. How about
and
starting?
yeah, everything you can start inside. I think that's
Okay.
good. This is a good annual cut flower mix. This is a good if you want a variety of plants all in one packet. It's like you don't have to buy a ton of packets to have each individual flower. This has a lot of different types of flowers in the one packet of seeds. And it's just go to the hardware store and pick out what the picture of the flowers that you like or vegetable.
Are there
So,
any you think that were good to help? Like if you want to get, if you want to feed the bees or like get, like help the insect population, like bees to pollinate, or if you have, say, a honey hive, are there those that you would recommend for like to bring, pollinators and butterflies?
I think I know the answer to that. You have to Google it. I just look at it for visual aesthetics. I'd like to cut them off and be pretty. I grow vegetables, but I'm not that good. I like the flowers mostly.
Mhm.
And
I used to like to also like grow like cherry tomatoes and plum tomatoes and
yep, and use a cage for them and to hold them up. Because
yeah, you
tomatoes
don't want them to get away, so you need to keep them in a cage in
will
case they
fall down.
run away.
Like the tomatoes are heavy and the plant will fall over.
And if
You
they break out of their cage, they might run away.
don't well, yeah.
Bad joke, I know. It's the only kind of jokes I know. So is there any other recommendation then that you would have for like if you're starting? I mean, obviously you could use the egg crate, you could use something that comes professionally. Is there a difference with those professional with those kind of things? Is
Well, yeah,
there an
because it
advantage?
has more soil, like it's longer and stuff.
Right.
Um,
So you
but
can keep it in there longer,
you
clearly.
can keep it longer, yeah. It just takes up more space, and if you have to want to, and then also like it's trial and error with seeds. Sometimes you'll plant the seed and it won't grow, so then you've wasted a whole cube in here. So with the egg cartons, I'm like, okay, that didn't grow. Who cares? I didn't waste a lot of soil or waste a lot of
Right.
space. So then when it does get really big in the egg carton, I'm like, okay, let's transfer it to these, or I've tried to these and these too. And then these are really big. Look how big these have gotten.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't have big enough ones to fill these gaps in yet, but they did get transferred from the smaller version into these. So maybe in a week I'll have more to fill into here that I started growing in the smaller pots.
Right.
And the professional, very professional one is the one with the cage.
Right.
So,
And the lid to allow
and the
like
lid, that's what I'm saying.
evaporation.
Yeah, this,
Yeah.
because this lifts up and it drains it properly and you don't leak it all over your table or wherever you have it.
That looks
So,
almost
what?
like a little greenhouse in effect.
It is, exactly. It's a greenhouse. Right. You're capturing all the warm air to keep it. And these are doing pretty well. You can
You could
see.
you could probably use a cake top. You could probably use like
Yeah,
for cakes, you could probably go to a bakery or something and ask them, hey, can I have as long as you measure the length and width and say, can I
exactly.
buy like 5 of those and use just, like, and, if you had 3 or
I
4
actually have
eggs.
a few of them.
Yeah, exactly.
See, yeah. So
And,
I've tried
and,
that.
and then put the egg containers underneath them and
Hmm.
still get the same effect as long as they remember to punch a hole in the bottom.
Yeah. And
And
these
then
too,
when
like
you
you'll
put,
see I got groceries in these or whatever, and I can use them underneath so that the water doesn't seep down onto my
that's a good
floor if I
idea.
have it inside, because you do want the holes in it no matter what, but to prevent the leaking. Um,
Right.
you would just like put it under this thing. Yeah.
Right.
And you can have it
Yeah,
on
and
your
that's a good
floor and not
idea.
worry about a big tarp or anything. So
Right.
yeah, here are
No,
more
that
of
makes
the,
total good sense. Yeah.
these two were a good one. I don't know what I bought. Oh, Clorox wipes I got in this one. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
You
that's a
ever
good
get the
idea.
wipes out of these? Yeah.
Although I would think you, oh yeah, and if you're going to use something like that, you want to make sure you wash it out thoroughly,
Rinse it out.
because
Exactly. Of course,
that
rinse it.
whole would absorb the Clorox
Hmm.
bleach into the soil and would kill
Yep.
um any kind of plant.
Yep. So, but it's a fun adventure. Just, watching the plants every day and checking on
That's kind
them
of
and
neat. Yeah, I
transferring
like
them
that.
to a new pot.
There
It's fun.
are, if you're interested in if you're interested in hydroponics or aeroponics, that is something different. There are ways you can literally grow a seed without any soil. You literally would spray it. This one is called aeroponics, where you would literally hold the seed with a mechanical means and you would spray the seed continuously
Right.
with water that has nutrients in it. Um, this is more complicated, obviously, and would be used for or hydroponics, where you place it into a neutral medium. There are special materials that you can put down that provide stability, and then you pump water into it, which has nutrients, and it can be used. Sand can be used, but you've got to provide nutrients and water all the time and
Right.
grow
That'd be
plants
like
in a
food
neutral
in the
medium.
water to know how to
Yeah,
do that.
exactly. But that's more complicated. You need a pump. You can use
Well,
like a,
here's my flower food right now here. The
oh,
miracle.
okay.
And you put this in your watering can, and I'm sure they tell me the proportions for water to this, but then that helps feed my plants too. So these are something good to have.
Plants need, and this is something, if you dig soil out of your own ground and it's not good quality soil, use something like this. It contains nitrogen.
Oh,
Plants need nitrogen in order to produce um, their flowering. Because now I did take botany, so I could talk more from the
yeah.
biology side. And so essentially, when the chloroplasts absorb sunlight, they absorb CO2 and they make sugars.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of the reverse of mitochondrial cells, which we've talked about. And then they'll use the nitrogen also available for fixation, and they'll put together until they'll make their sugars, which they need to survive. It's kind of the reverse of what mitochondria do. So it's kind of interesting, but we'll not get into that. But so
Yeah.
I guess that's everything for this starter episode. And then we'll talk when
Yep.
it comes time to about this. When it comes time to transplant the
Right.
seeds, it comes time to move them over, see how things are going. Some will probably do well, some probably won't do as well. And we'll talk about like watering enough, too much, too little, all that kind of stuff, because that's important to know too. And like when you take them in, when not. So I want to thank you very much. This was a
You
good
for including.
episode. Yeah, it was
I
fun.
can't wait
So
to see how everyone else tries their seeds. And if you guys have
yeah,
questions, you can show us like what would we do here and
that is something else. Yes, very good point. Please send us some, tell us if you've started your own seeds or, that kind of thing. Um,
keep track of everyone's progress and be excited. Yeah, that looks great. And it's kind of fun
that I
as
really would like. And,
Mhm.
it's like, I may want to have you come on one of our, um, um,
Group calls.
one of our groups. Yeah, one of
Groups.
our groups, survivor groups, and talk about starting and maintaining your, because I think that would be good too.
Yeah.
Please click like, subscribe, comment below. If you have any questions for Laura about
Mhm.
plants or anything, if there's anyone who knows that, it would be a florist, for sure. That, you know, she
Love
had
doing
her own
it.
business and all that. So if there's anyone who
Doing more.
knows,
So maybe you guys can share with me too what you've learned.
yep,
It's just
and vice
great.
versa, of course. Just because she's a professional doesn't mean she can't learn new things. If
Right.
anything, that's the mark of a professional, is somebody who says, yeah, I can learn new stuff. So, all right, I'd like to thank you again.
Thank you.
Please, like, don't hesitate to ask questions for her. And we will see you again on our next in this series about, planting, growing, and transplanting and moving to outside, that kind of stuff, your seeds and your plants. Thank you again and have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.